Hey guys, it's Alexandra. Today I'm going to be talking with Brian, who came from Mexico to America when he was 9 years old with his family. He's going to be talking about some of the challenges that he faced growing up in America as an immigrant and some of the major accomplishments he's had while he's been here. I hope that you will stay tuned to listen to his journey, and I think it might change your perspective on what we view immigration as in today's America. So I hope that you will stay tuned to hear him and subscribe for more videos. All right, thank you.
I just graduated college in May. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in communications, broadcast journalism. As right now, I'm not really embracing it. I work at a restaurant right now. I'm a manager there. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what else is there's to it. I mean, all through college and stuff, I struggled to pay for college. So I had multiple jobs. So I don't know. I guess that kind of defines me a little bit who I am. Like I've always worked for what I want, you know. So I always had a bunch of little and big jobs all through college and stuff. What else? I was also kind of involved in sports and stuff growing up. And then, I mean, now I'm just kind of like waiting for this whole pandemic to kind of play out so that I can actually embrace my degree and do something. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else you want to know. It's just,
So,
that's just kind of who I am.
yeah. So the TikTok kind of that really caught my attention was you made one about sort of there was this little flashback to President Trump talking about, um, Mexico doesn't give us their best. They give us rapists and drugs and all this stuff. And then you
Right.
coming forward and saying like, hey, that's just not how it is. Like, we're actually here to make the country better. So
when Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists.
Soy perra. No, no es cierto. Soy perrísima.
So if I'm correct, you said your parents are immigrants, right?
Yes, they are. Well, we actually moved here. I was actually born in Mexico as well. We actually moved here when I was 9 years old. Um, I mean, I didn't know how to speak the language. Where they just me and my sister both went to school in the U.S. After that, I was nine. I was nine. She was about eight or seven. We struggled a lot in school. You know, like trying to fit in, trying to learn the language, trying to just make friends or make like just kind of feeling welcome, I guess. We just the main reason why my parents decided to move here was to give us a better future. So just like I know I'm not the only one that has moved to the US for a better future, for a better life, because I know there's a lot of people, and for somebody um, in that position to, I don't know, kind of like downgrade on people like that, just kind of talk about people that way, it's just, I don't know, it's a touchy subject, so it's just, it hurts, and for him to be saying stuff like that, I just kind of felt like, well, you know what, like, it's really not always like that. There's all these people, all these immigrants that actually went to school, they pay for it, they're they pay their way through it to even go to school, because like I mean, a lot of immigrants don't really qualify for all these benefits like financial aid or all these other stuff, so you basically have to either earn scholarships or pay for it out of pocket, stuff like that. So a lot of those like videos and stuff, I don't know, I just kind of thought, you know what, like, I just have to say something about it, because I know I'm not the only one, and I know that there's a lot of people that have gone through what I went through and stuff. So it's just, it's kind of like something, it's just saying like, hey, like, it's not really like that. So that's the reason why I thought about making that video.
Did you get any positive responses from it? Like any people reaching out to you being like, thank you for understanding, I'm in this position too, or anything like that?
Yeah, well, it was a lot of both, honestly, both ways. I got a lot of hate from it, but then I also got a lot of positive stuff, like a bunch of positive comments on there, like, hey, yeah, we're here to stay, we're here to make this country great, blah blah blah, and like a lot of stuff like that, and a lot of people congratulating me for going through everything that I went through and still managed to get a college degree. I mean, I'm first generation college student, so that was definitely it was a huge milestone for me and my family. So I did get a lot. I did get a lot of hate, but then I also did get a lot of really good responses and like really just really good vibes all around too.
I
So I mean, yeah.
I feel like a lot of the people that I hear talking about immigration aren't immigrants. So it's kind of like, what do you think people should understand about that situation, and like maybe some of the stereotypes that can be broken?
Um, I think that a lot of people don't really understand everything that an immigrant goes through, like when they first move to the country. Like, um, a lot of immigrants, they live in fear for years. Like fearing of the number one thing being the number one thing being deported, um, like being sent back. So it's just a lot of people like to talk, like to open their mouth. They like to say, "Oh, well, we don't want you here. We don't want that." Blah blah blah. Or but they don't really know what that what those people are going through. Um, I don't know. It's a lot.
You, if you could have imagined your life having not have moved here, how do you think your life would be different?
I really don't think I would have finished school, to be honest with you. I was kind of growing up. I was kind of like, oh, like I was good at school, kind of, but I was kind of like, I don't want to do it. I don't like to do it. Um, when I was younger, my parents would always tell me, oh, you always had good grades, like in elementary school and stuff. And then I moved here, and then my grades were kind of bad for a little bit. But then I started to like kind of build up a little bit, getting back on track and stuff. I mean, I was really young too, so it was kind of like school was school at the time. But then as I started to get older and realize a bunch of things, I was kind of like, well, wow, my parents did that for us, for us to have a better future, for us to make them proud. So um, that's whenever, probably like freshman year of high school, that's when I was kind of like, you know what, like I'm gonna do something to basically repay them, like do it for them more than for myself, because I owe it to them. So I decided, I want to go to college and stuff. So I started looking around, and I got a few offers, and then I was gonna move away, but then I don't know. I feel like coming from the stereotypical Mexican family, moving away was kind of like a big thing, So I ended up staying at home all through college. I went to a local university, the same town where I grew up in. I ended up staying, and then I just recently moved away, which and I mean I'm 23 years old, and I barely moved away. A lot of people are probably like, a lot of people would say like, oh my gosh, like you're so old, and you were still with your parents, blah blah blah. But they don't like really understand that bond, that like uh, that's shared in a Mexican household, until you grow up. And then I was the oldest, so that was like even harder, to like make a like decide or whatever. But I really don't think that if we hadn't moved here when I was young, I don't think I would have actually like gone all the way. I don't even think I would have finished high school, to be honest with you. I probably would have ended up like not going to school, probably getting like a, I don't know, somewhat okay paying job, but then I don't think I would have actually done something with my life.
Yeah.
So it was a big change, and I mean, my parents were the reason why I kind of just pushed through it. Like, I kid you not, there was nights while I was in college where I just wanted to throw everything away and just quit, but I mean, just I always thought of that. I'm like, no, like I have to think of the sacrifice that my parents made for us when we were little, and I just have to keep pushing through. And I mean, I got it done. So
Do you think along the way, aside from, the global scale of how immigrants are portrayed, what kind of personal challenges have you faced with like the stigma of, not being born in America? Has that gotten in your way at all?
it has a lot. I think that once I wanted to start working, main thing, um, there was certain things that I couldn't do for the same reason. Like there was a lot of places where, I mean, that's one of the first things that's in any application. Like, are you legally able to work in the US or whatever? So back then it was kind of like everybody was always hesitant about like, oh, applying here or applying there, because like you never know. I mean, now it's a lot easier, but back then it was just like the situation that we were in. It was kind of like, oh, I can't apply there because like you never know, like they'll end up just firing me, or worst comes to worst, they'll be like, oh, you guys are going back, things like that. I mean, now thank God, like we're okay now. Like we have steady jobs, we're good people, we pay taxes, whatever. But that's the main thing that got in the way. It's just this country is supposed to be about opportunities and being better for yourself, and that's the main thing that was kind of like just stopping us from doing a lot, you know, for that reason. So that's one thing that got in the way, definitely.
Yeah.
And then, well, I mean, when I was little, obviously I struggled with like bullying and stuff because I didn't speak the language or whatever. And then when I started to speak it, then I would get bullied for my accent, which I still kind of have an accent, but it's not as bad as it was when I was younger. But I mean, those are some things that I did struggle with.
And how does that stuff make you feel? How did that make you feel that you were working so hard and still having the odds against you, basically?
Well, at first when I was younger, I didn't really understand it. I was like, well, why can't I get a job there? Like I didn't really know much about it. But then I just kind of started to see and be like, well, this is just the way it is, and there's really no way to change it. But whenever Obama did that deferred action program for childhood arrivals, um, we got right on that, and we were like, well, this is a huge opportunity for us to actually get a decent job and not be scared of getting fired, or doing all these things and then getting fired. Like one day you show up to work and they're like, oh yeah, you can no longer work here, you gotta go, or whatever, for whatever reason. Whenever that started, that was huge for my family. That was a huge impact in our lives, because of that, it allowed me to go to school, it allowed me to get a decent job, it allowed me to do a bunch of other things. So it helped me pay my way through college, because college wasn't cheap, it wasn't easy. So that's just, it makes me feel really accomplished, like I've done something with my life, that I've done something to make my parents proud, that I've done something to repay them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, I mean, it's something really good. It feels good.
Yeah. And what kind of advice would you give any young immigrant who is feeling like, I mean, I'm sure you feel isolated. You're coming in and you're starting from scratch, and you're like you said, you don't speak the language, and it's just right that you already are. It's already harder for you before you've even started. So
Right.
how would you advise somebody to be bigger than that and to kind of get past those struggles?
Well, I would just say hang in there, because there is light at the end of the tunnel, always. So, I mean, that sounds really cliche to say, but there really is. And it's just, work hard for what you want, because nothing's going to get handed to you. Like growing up in a Mexican or in Hispanic household, I mean, that's really like implemented in you, you know, as growing up. You know, your parents, you always see your dad working, you always see your mom working and stuff like that. You know, like you always see them working hard for what they want, and that's the beauty of it. You know, like they're teaching you this amazing work ethic, and you know you're expected to follow it. Um, so that's what I would say to them. You know, like just work hard for what you want to. Nothing's gonna get handed to you. It's gonna be hard. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna say like, oh, you'll get it. Like just because you want to get it. No, like you have to, you know, stand up and do something about it. You know, like if you want to get a job, then go and get that job. Fight for it. Like find whatever way that it is for you to get what you want. You know, I mean, there's always an option. You know, never just because they tell you no one place or one time, like you know you have to be persistent. You know, so if they tell you no, okay, try the next one. They tell you no, go back to the other one. They might have changed their mind. You know, like just
Mhm.
keep going for it.
And how do you think things could improve in the future for our country?
How do I think? What I'm saying?
Things could improve in the future for our country as far as immigration goes.
Immigration. Well, right now I'm really hoping that one of the first steps in um, with our new president, hopefully starting next year. Hopefully they'll do something about the DACA recipients, maybe granting citizenship, because that way I feel like um, DACA recipients could do so much for this country. This whole country, in my opinion, this whole country is built on immigration. I strongly do believe that. So I feel like granting that to DACA recipients would be really, really good for the country in general, because um, DACA recipients, it's hard. It's hard to even get considered for that program. You know, like you have to have been here for a certain amount of years. You can't have no signs of criminal record whatsoever. You can't even have like traffic tickets and stuff like that. You know, like they take all of that in consideration, and you have to be basically a good citizen to even be considered for it. So I feel like that would be a huge first step for immigration in this country.
And what do you think makes you what do you think makes you a good member of this country? What do you think are some of the things you're most proud of about yourself that you have to offer?
I really do believe that I mean I'm just here to better myself and make my family proud. So um, I've never really I have no signs of criminal record whatsoever, you know. So I just all I did was go to school, go to work, and you know just live my life, you know. Um, Graduated school, and now all I do is really I work, and I mean I have a place of my own. I pay taxes, you know. Like it's just I I do believe that I'm just another citizen, you know. So it's really not like other people. Let's say like the bad people, um, the killers or rapists or whatever. You know, like those people. I mean, I do agree that's bad. It's bad for the country or whatever all around. But like I said, with DACA recipients, there's all these background checks you have to go through to even be considered. So there's, you know, just we really are just good people. We're not really here to harm anyone, you know. So we're just here to kind of better ourselves.
And what are some of your personal goals for the future? Like what are your dreams?
My dreams. Well, I did go to school for journalism, so I always told myself that I wanted to be a very well-known journalist in the Spanish industry. So in Spanish more than anything, and I mean being bilingual, that's already a plus. So it's just that's one of the main goals, hopefully in the future.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. I think it's so helpful to hear directly from somebody who has experience instead of just hearing all the noise about what you think it's like.
Right.
Because I think there's so many people that are like you that don't fall into the category of people that aren't supposed to be here. So,
Exactly. Yes.
I really appreciate you taking the time, and I think your messages are really important. So I hope you continue to speak out and normalize what's going on with immigrants who are just trying to make a better life
Right.
for themselves. So I hope that you achieve also your dreams. I think if you keep working hard, I'm sure you'll get wherever you want to get. So good luck
Thank you.
with that. And
Thank you. I appreciate it.
keep in touch and reach out if you need anything else.
Of course. Thank you. It was very nice meeting you.
It was so nice meeting you too.
Mhm.
All right, take care.
Bye.